Hi everybody and welcome back to Jaffa Cooks, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a ADANA kebab. Yes, an absolute killer of a kebab we've tried in Turkey. A very simple recipe, but it went down a treat. In fact, it went down so well we nearly had it every day. So, very simple. I'll show you how to put this together. We're going to put it in the fridge for a few hours, let it marinate, and then I'm going to put it on a skewer and cook it off. We'll serve it with some bread, some salad, maybe some yogurt dressing. And believe me, it's one of those. Okay, before we start, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Click on the link, get the latest updates. Thank you to all those who are messaging me. I haven't got time to make all those different versions of all those recipes, but I will take those challenges on one by one. This is one of the challenges. Like and share with your family and friends. Send me a DM message and tell me how it went and give me a thumbs up if it went well for you. Okay, so very simple. I've got ½ kilo of a fatty mince. Now again, not too fatty, but it needs fat to hold together. So it's a fatty mince. All kebabs need some fat to hold them together. So I'm just breaking that up. ½ kilo, and then I've got, don't get scared with this, I've got some red chillies, green chillies, chili flakes, and if you haven't already switched off by now, you're with me. I've got some salt and garlic. That's it. It just takes 5 ingredients and some meat. So I'm going to pop these in and really make sure they're mixed in nicely. You may think, oh my God, there's a lot of chili. And you know what? When we were in Turkey, actually, my daughter keeps telling me, name the country right, which I should do actually. It's now called Turkey. When we were in Turkey, when we tried the kebab, it was there was a hit of chili in it. But then the guy at the restaurant told us, eat it with the bread and the yogurt and the dressing. And when you do eat it and put everything together, it's not as hot as you think it is. And it really did taste nice. So we were so impressed that we were nearly there every day. So this is my version of an ADANA kebab. Okay, so everything's in there. I'm going to give this a good mix. And there's nothing else. You don't need to put any acidity in it. There's chili in there. That'll break it all down. No onions. All we're going to do is just mix the chili, garlic, and the salt into the fatty mince. And I'm going to cover this up and leave it in the fridge for about a couple of hours for it to marinate. And I'll get my skewers ready. If you haven't got skewers, do find some skewers. This will need skewers. You can use metal ones or wooden ones. If you've got wooden ones, I'd suggest you soak them in water so they don't burn when you start cooking your kebabs. And I think we're good. I'm just going to now wash up, clean up, pop this in the fridge, and I'll see you back after a couple of hours. See you a bit later on. Welcome back, everybody. So my mince for my ADANA kebabs have been in the fridge. It's a bit cold. I brought it out from the bowl and put it onto a plate just to bring it up to room temperature. And I've got my skewers. Now, you could use metal skewers, but if you're using wooden skewers like mine, you do need to soak these in water for about 7 to 8 hours. So what I'm going to do now is, normally when you make a kebab, and one of the things that we tend to do is put them straight onto a plate, put them in the fridge, or put them straight onto a griddle and then start cooking them off. But I want to show you a technique that we've learned by watching my mum and a few other people do make kebabs. So instead of placing the kebab straight into the dish like that and then one on top of the other, what we want to do is make the kebab but put them onto a dish where they don't touch the base or another kebab. So we'll end up making kebabs and they'll sit on a dish like this. They won't touch the base and they won't touch each other. That allows them to basically rest. And if we start putting one on top of the other, then it starts infusing, then you start pulling them apart and then they break. So this is what I'm going to do, and that's the reason why I've got these skewers all lined up like soldiers. Okay, so out of my kebab mix, I'm going to try and make 8 kebabs. And as I'm making them, you'll see them lining up. So take your mince and divide it into 8 just a health warning. If you feel the urge to itch your eye or anywhere close to your face, don't. This has chili, and the last thing you want to do is have an irritation or touch your finger anywhere close to your face. It may end up creating a nasty itch. So let's not, don't do that. If you've got sensitive skin, then I would suggest you wear gloves. Kebabs are nice, but we don't want you having a reaction with the chili or the spice. So anyway, getting back to what we're here for. I'm going to make the kebab. So I'm making 8 portions out of the mince. Okay, so now what we need to do is just soften it up slightly. Make it into like a torpedo to start off with. Once you've made it into a torpedo, I'm making mine like a bullet, a bit more like a rectangle bullet. And what I want to do is, if you need to make it a little bit stickier, you can add a bit of water, just a couple of dabs, nothing too much. And then there are a couple of ways of doing it. Some people say that if you flatten the meat up and then place the skewer on top and then try and fold it, it does work. It does work, but then I find sometimes if the meat isn't sticky, it then falls apart. So I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to basically skewer the meat. And then don't forget, we need to have it spaced enough so that it doesn't touch the edges or the other kebab. So with my, I'd say middle finger, I'm just going to press down a little bit slowly just to evenly spread out the kebab. So I'm just going to add a little bit more water. Now we don't want them too thick. Now the reason why I'm using the middle finger is we want to have like ridges, and that ridges basically allows us to do a couple of things. One, flatten the meat out, and then it gives it even spacing. So there's my kebab. I'm slowly flattening. Just make sure that your skewer is flat, and the flat side of the meat, when you're leveling it out, is also flat as well, not the other way around. Okay, so I think that's good enough. I'm just going to give it a bit of a ridge, and we're good to go. Another 7, and I'll come back and see you shortly. Bye for now. Welcome back, everyone. So my kebabs are ready, and just to make sure, I'll show you them. They're separated, they're not touching. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop them in the fridge for about half an hour, give them time to rest. And when I'm ready, I'll come back and show you how to grill them off then. All right, see you shortly. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So we're going to start making now ADANA kebab. So I've got a griddle on the pan, and I've got 2 skewers either side. Just to show you how hot it is very hot. So you can see that the skewers should be, that's why we watered the skewers as well and kept them watered so they don't burn immediately. Now all I'm going to do now is take each kebab, ADANA kebab, and just layer it on top. And what we want to do, we don't want it to basically cook directly onto the griddle, but what we want to do is just position it on top so the heat basically cooks the kebab. So I'm just going to put 1, 2. I'm going to do batches of 4. So that's my first batch, and I'm going to let them cook off, and I'll show you what they look like towards the end. See you in a few minutes. So welcome back, everybody. My ADANA kebabs are ready, and I'm going to show you how to take an ADANA kebab and create something out of this world. So I'm going to take my ADANA kebabs. It's hot. So that's why, another reason why we make sure that the skewers are kept in and soaked in water. So they don't burn, and even besides that, they're still very, very hot. So that's my ADANA kebab. Now you can do lots with this. You can have some pickled gherkins. some cherry tomatoes, some toum. Now, do you remember ever going to those Turkish restaurants and finding that white garlicky sauce? This is that sauce. And I've got some of that beautiful red tomato sauce. And all I'm going to do now is roll this up. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to now. Absolutely beautiful. I've got to go to finish this off. See you again. Take care. Bye for now.